Government will buy Wang Chi House flats at the same price as the other 7 fire-hit Wang Fuk Court blocks if at least 3/4 of owners agree to sell by end June. New wave of online shopping scams lure sellers into fake links, entering a verification code that is indeed a transfer amount. And Hong Kong Disneyland chalks up profits for 2 years running, earning over $500 million last fiscal year and clearing its debts for the first time ever. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Homeowners of the only block spared by the Wang Fuk Court fire will be included in the government's rehousing plans if at least 75% of them agree to the official buyout by the end of June. The move will cost $1 billion in taxpayers' money. Jamie Liu has more details.
The resettlement proposals initially excluded Wang Chi House, the only unscathed block in the deadly fire. The government said it got in touch with 99% of owners of Wang Chi House and found that 77% of them are willing to sell their flats back to authorities. In response, the government decided to extend the current rehousing plans, including the same acquisition prices, to these owners on the condition that at least 3/4 of them agree to the acquisition by June 30th. The buyout of all 248 flats will cost $1 billion from public funds. Deputy Financial Secretary Michael Wong argued that it was a reasonable option and warned of difficulties that owners would face if they kept the flats and moved back in.
They will have to put up quite a bit of money in order to carry out all the maintenance works necessary. And there are also fundamental problems relating to the underlying lease. But it doesn't mean that we'd like to force them to accept the proposal. At the end of the day, it is their decision, having regard to their own circumstances.
Meanwhile, from May 13th to 17th, Wang Chi House residents will be allowed a 3-hour trip back to their homes to collect personal belongings. Each unit can allow a maximum of 4 people to enter, with lifts available. The government also promised a second round of homecoming trips for the 7 other blocks, but has yet to set a date. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Police have recorded 99 cases of online shopping scams targeting sellers between January and March, involving losses of more than $13 million. 33 people have been arrested. Online shopping fraud usually involves tricking buyers into transferring money before disappearing, but police say scammers are now turning their attention to sellers. Fraudsters approach vendors on trading platforms, showing interest in goods and sending links to fake websites. These sites replicate the original listings and display messages such as "buyer has paid, please confirm," creating the impression that transactions are complete. The scammers then instruct sellers to log into online banking to carry out so-called payment verification. In reality, this transfers money directly to the fraudsters. Sean Leung, superintendent of the New Territories South Anti-Deception Unit, said the codes provided can be 5 or 6 digits. Once entered, they authorize transfers of tens of thousands of dollars, far exceeding the value of the goods on sale. Fraudsters may even claim verification has failed, pushing victims to repeat the process and lose more money. Police warn the public not to leave trading platforms during deals, as this forfeits platform protection. They also urge people to never input bank details or one-time passwords on unknown websites or links. Hong Kong Disneyland has turned a profit for a second straight year, delivering strong results despite extreme weather, a travel boom taking locals overseas, and a choppy global economy, cementing its status as a regional tourism powerhouse. Bess Leung shares more.
The theme park's 20th anniversary celebrations have powered the resort to profit for a second year running. In this anniversary year, the park drew 7.5 million visitors, took in $8.69 billion in revenue, and earned $536 million in net profit, even if those totals dipped from the prior year's records. Per capita spending still hit a new high, up 2%, and the resort clears its debts for the first time, with Disney crediting its powerful brand and citywide mega events as it looks confidently to the year ahead.
In looking at the comparison from year to year, there's a number of differences that we certainly were faced with. For instance, we had increased outbound travel from Hong Kongers, as an example. Ongoing macroeconomic uncertainty in certain areas, in certain regions that are guest on us. But I think we all recall the difficulty that we had last year with the weather. 15 typhoons, the 5 black rains, and when you look at historical information, it was really an outlier.
The resort's 20th anniversary party wraps up on June 7th, but the magic is far from over. From next month, a free roaming robotic Olaf from Frozen will wander around World of Frozen to surprise and chat with guests, while a new Pixar-themed immersive theater show fusing cutting-edge technology with real-world sets is due to open next year.
It will be something entirely new and only found in Hong Kong. Our World of Frozen is like no other World of Frozen. You can find other Frozen experiences, you can see Frozen movies, buy Frozen merchandise, but when you come to Hong Kong Disneyland and you're just surrounded by the beautiful Lantau Mountains, you're in some place very different.
Amid Middle East tensions, the resort said they have seen little impact so far, but is closely monitoring key markets and staying nimble as global conditions evolve. Beth Lam, Cable News.
The Hong Kong University of Science and Technology broke ground on the building that will house the city's third medical school. The university said it has recruited 7 clinical professors so far and promised not to headhunt faculty from the 2 existing medical schools. Jamie Liu reports.
3, 2, 1!
Top HKUST officers, joined by Chief Executive and University Chancellor John Lee, broke ground on the new medical school complex. In his speech, Lee reaffirmed government support for HKUST to set up the city's third medical school, including reserving the Ngau Tam Mei site in the northern metropolis for a permanent campus.
It will nurture a new generation of doctors with professional expertise, technological command, a global perspective, and a patient-centered philosophy. It will raise Hong Kong's research and medical education capabilities. This is the future we are building for Hong Kong and for every patient who will one day be healed by the doctors trained here. Let's build it together.
The medical education and research complex in the Clearwater Bay campus costs $2 billion, fully funded by the institution. It will house teaching facilities and research laboratories across 8 stories. Completion is scheduled for mid-2028, and by then it will be ready to welcome the first cohort of about 50 students. HKUST President Nancy Ip told reporters that while the medical school is still in search for a dean, it has recruited 7 clinical professors so far. She stressed that her institution will not poach teaching staff from the existing 2 medical schools, describing them as collaborators rather than competitors. She expressed confidence in bringing in international experience to the school, noting growing interest from scholars in the United States, Europe, Australia, and Singapore. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
The suspect accused of opening fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner appeared in court on charges of trying to assassinate the United States president. Federal authorities suggest the attack has been planned for at least several weeks. Jamie Liu again reports.
Cole Thomas Allen, in blue jail uniform, made his first appearance in a Washington federal court. He faces 3 charges, including attempting to assassinate U.S. President Donald Trump, which is punishable by life imprisonment. According to FBI case details, in early April, Allen reserved a room at a Washington Hilton hotel where the dinner would be held weeks later. He then traveled from California to Washington by train last week and checked in a day before the dinner. On the day of the attack, he was carrying a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun, a .38 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and knives. Authorities said Allen tried to race past a security barricade near the ballroom. A Secret Service agent fired 5 shots, while Allen also opened fire at least once. Allen was not shot and only suffered knee injuries. The agent was shot but survived thanks to a bulletproof vest. The Department of Justice warned it may press additional charges.
Violence has no place in civic life. It cannot and will not be used to disrupt democratic institutions or intimidate those who serve them, and it certainly cannot continue to be used against the President of the United States.
A CNN investigation went through Allen's archived social media posts and found that in recent years, his messages shifted from about video games to angrier political messages, venting grievances at Trump and his administration. The shooting prompted the Trump administration to consider reviewing security measures for the president. Allen, now in custody, is due to return to court on Thursday for another hearing. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
14 people, all female, have been killed and 84 others injured after 2 trains collided near Jakarta, Indonesia. The crash happened at Bekasi City's rail station between a commuter train and a long-distance train, where carriages were left mangled and badly damaged. Rescue teams rushed to the platforms to free trapped passengers, with some attempting to break windows to reach those inside. Transport officials said a taxi appeared to have clipped the commuter train on a level crossing, forcing it to stop. Its rear carriage, designated as a women-only section to prevent harassment, was then struck by the long-distance service. No passengers on the long-distance train were hurt. President Prabowo Subianto visited victims in hospital and ordered a full investigation. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 245 points. Top active stocks of the day, Tracker Fund was down 26 cents. Tencent was down $4.80. Xiaomi was down $1.18. And SMIC was down $2.20. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, Euro 9.15, the Japanese yen 49.04. Home prices in the city jumped 1.39% in March, rising for a 10th straight month to the highest level in more than 2 years. The Rating and Valuation Department's Private Housing Price Index climbed to 312.8, narrowing the gap with the September 2021 peak of 398.1 to just over 21%, with prices up about 4.4% in the first quarter alone. Prices rose across all flat sizes, generally by more than 1%, with the sharpest gains in the 430 to 752 square feet mass market segment. Analysts say the Middle East conflict has had only a limited impact on Hong Kong property, along with lower interest rates, a buoyant stock market, stronger rental yields, and solid demand from talent schemes and students. Overall home prices could climb about 5 to 10% this year. Rents are also on a tear. The private residential rental index hit a record 202.2 in March, edging up about 0.6% on the month, stretching its winning streak to 5 months and pushing gains this year to nearly 0.9%, once again breaking past the previous August 2019 peak. Hong Kong's external trade figures for March came in far stronger than expected, thanks to a robust global demand for electronic products. Exports rose 35.8% year-on-year in March, the fastest pace in more than 5 years. Imports surged 41.2%, the quickest increase in over 3 decades, leaving a trade deficit of $89.1 billion. A government spokesperson warned that escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East have driven up international energy prices, posing downside risks to the global economy and potentially disrupting trade flows and supply chains. However, officials stressed that resilient demand for electronic products will continue to provide solid support for the SAR's exports. On to the weather now. Cloudy with occasional showers and a few squally thunderstorms. Showers will be heavier at times tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 21 and 27 degrees. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Chu. Thanks for watching and good night.